I'm getting married in 3 weeks, and honestly, I'm in deep trouble. I've got to get this off my chest or I'm going to lose it. I feel like I'm going out of my mind. Lena, my fiancée, and I have been together for about 7 years. We've been engaged for 2. Our wedding is just around the corner, 3 weeks away, and tonight, I saw something that's making me question everything. I mean, seriously, I might be making the biggest mistake of my life. Tonight was one of those rare evenings where we were both home and just chilling. Lena was in the kitchen making dinner, and I was out in the backyard, working on a little project of mine. After a while, I got thirsty, as you do when you're sweating it out outside, so I headed back inside to grab something to drink. That's when I spotted Lena at the counter, busy with dinner and talking on speakerphone. I recognized the voice right away. It was Travis, my brother-in-law. Now, this is where things start to get real strange. Travis was asking Lena if she knew where her sister, Monica, was. Apparently, he'd been texting her and hadn't gotten any replies. Then I hear Lena say, she just left here. She should be home in about half an hour. For context, Monica is Travis's wife. They've been married 6 years. At first, her comment didn't even register with me. I just walked into the kitchen, grabbed a glass, and asked her, what was that all about? She said casually, Travis is looking for MO. I noticed she was texting someone, so I asked her, who are you texting? She goes, I'm just telling MO that Travis is trying to get in touch. I poured myself a drink, took a sip, sat down, and then it finally clicked. Wait a second. Lena told Travis that Monica had just left our place. But Monica hadn't been here tonight. In fact, the last time we saw her was yesterday, when she came by to help Lena with some last-minute wedding stuff. So why is Lena texting Monica like she expects a reply, when Travis said she wasn't answering? And why say she'll be home in 25 minutes unless Lena either knows where Monica is, or she's literally texting her right now, warning her to get home quick? The only explanation I could come up with is that Lena is flat out lying to Travis and helping cover for Monica. And yeah, I spent the next 6 hours turning it over in my head, playing out different scenarios, some of them kinda reasonable, some of them absolutely awful. I really wanted to ask Lena about it, but if my gut feeling was right, there was no way she was gonna be honest with me. Which brings us to about an hour ago. It was around 2 a.m. when I woke up to use the bathroom. I couldn't help myself. I had to check her phone. We both know each other's passcodes, so it wasn't a big deal to get in. I took her phone, went into the bathroom, unlocked it, and sure enough, my worst fear was right there on the screen. Probably just like you're guessing. Turns out Monica has been cheating on Travis with some guy she works with. It's been going on for 6 months, and Lena has known the whole time. Not just known, she's been helping her cover it up. I'm talking hundreds of messages between them, talking about this guy, their life, trashing Travis behind his back. Stuff that made me sick to read. And my fiancé is right there in the middle of it, playing along like it's no big deal. I took screenshots of everything, put the phone back, and now here I am, sitting alone in my home office, typing all this out on Reddit because the scream I want to let out would probably wake up the whole neighborhood. I am completely, 100% screwed. Reddit, I can't go through with this wedding. There's no way I can marry Lena after this. I've tried to think of any possible excuse she could give me for helping her sister cheat on her husband and destroy a family with a 3-year-old kid. But there's nothing. Nothing that would make this okay. The problem is, this wedding is already paid for. Both of our families have poured a ton of money into it. It's in 2 weeks. We're not getting any of that money back. And I feel like a complete idiot. How did I not see this side of her? I can't marry her. I know I can't. But damn it, a part of me still wants to. She's beautiful, fun, kind at least to me, and I really thought we had something good. But now I can't even look at her the same way. It's like someone threw black ink all over this perfect picture we painted of our future. And now I don't even know how I messed this up so badly. The thought of confronting her makes me want to puke or punch a hole in the wall. Edit. Okay, I hear you, don't worry. I'm not marrying her. That's off the table. What I'm trying to do now is figure out what comes next and build up the guts to do it. The pressure is insane. Our families, the money, the expectations, everything is bearing down on me. But I'm not going to cave. I'm just really angry that I even have to be in this situation at all. Edit 2. It's 5 in the morning. I've slept maybe 3 hours. I've got work in a few hours, so I'm gonna hit the shower and head in early, avoid Lena for a bit and clear my head. Huge thanks to the people being supportive here. As for the people saying I should hear her out, you're dreaming. Edit 3. Got to work around 7. Office was still empty, so I decided to start dealing with this mess. I called my brother. He lives in Australia and was still up after putting his kids to bed. Telling him sucked. He shelled out a lot of money to fly his whole family in for the wedding. But you know what? He didn't even mention it. He just had my back. He also said something that hit home. He reminded me that I work in a job where I deal with liars and scammers every day. So yeah, of course this hit me harder. I crave honesty in my personal life because I can't get it at work. He's right, and it made sense why this cut so deep. He also had a pretty solid idea. He was already planning to take his family down to Florida for some sightseeing and theme parks. Now it looks like I'll be joining them. We were going to honeymoon there anyway, so I'll just change my plans, stay near them, and offer the extra ticket to my sister or someone else. Haven't had time to read all the replies yet, but I've responded to a few. Right now, I'm just slamming cup after cup of coffee, trying to keep my mind busy until it's late enough to reach out to Travis. Edit 4. Just finished our morning stand-up at work. My stomach's flipping from all the coffee. I can't concentrate. I feel stuck. I know I can't do anything until I talk to Travis, so I'm taking a sick day. I'm going to drive to his house and see if he's around. If he's not, I'll call him and try to catch him another way. He's a teacher and on break right now. Monica works a regular 10 to 4 like me, so odds are he'll be home. Wish me luck. Reddit. Edit 5. Just pulled up to Travis's place. It's a little after 11 a.m. When I got to Travis's house, he just put his daughter down for a nap. We ended up having a long, honestly pretty brutal conversation right there in his kitchen. Turns out, he'd been suspicious for a couple of months, but Monica had been good at covering her tracks, clearly with Lena's help and, apparently, a few of their mutual friends, too. Unfortunately, I didn't have every message from the past 6 months, just a couple dozen screenshots I'd pulled from Lena's phone and sent to myself. But I handed over what I had and told him I'd do whatever I could to help. I work as a field analyst in the claims unit of a mid-sized insurance company. We specialize in workers' comp fraud, so I know a bit about tracking people down and digging into things. Right now, I'm actually sitting here in what would have been my brother-in-law's kitchen, trying to pull together whatever I can salvage from this mess. I know I'm going to have to face Lena tonight, and I've got to start letting people know what's going on. Now that I've confirmed things and know I'm not screwing Travis over by acting too soon, I've got to move fast. So far, I've managed to rebook most of the honeymoon trip. There was a hiccup with Lena's airline ticket since it was under her maiden name, and the airline has some rule about name changes, but they let me cancel it and gave me a partial refund. I rebooked the trip for my sister instead. She's bringing her kids, and I'll just tag along as their uncle chaperone in a couple of weeks. I'm holding off on canceling the wedding venues until after I talk to Lena, mostly because I don't want the news to spread before Travis gets a chance to talk to Monica himself. But I'm planning to let my family and close friends know sometime this afternoon, and I'll ask them to keep it quiet for now. Right now, I'm in full panic mode, canceling whatever I can, running around trying to set things straight. I'm about to head to the bank to open a new account and start sorting out bills and payments. People have been asking about the money situation. Thankfully, I should be okay. The mortgage is in my name since we never got married and I make more than Lena does. She did chip in about $30,000 toward the down payment, while I put in around $90,000. I'll likely have to pay her back for her portion and maybe part of the mortgage payments from the past year and a half, but honestly, it could have been a lot worse. Later update. It's about 9:15 in the evening now, and I'm at my buddy Darren's place. He's a former coworker of mine, and we're in the same line of work. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm basically a private investigator for workers' comp claims. My job is to sniff out the fakes and frauds, so this kind of thing isn't totally foreign to me. Anyway, as I suspected, Travis wanted my help finding out who Monica's mystery man was. All we had was a first name, Jake. The first thing I did wasn't anything fancy. I just tried LinkedIn, digging through Monica's connections to see if I could find anyone named Jake. Nothing came up, which was weird. Travis had told me Monica was supposedly going out for drinks after work and wouldn't be home until 8 or 9. He didn't have to say what he was thinking. I already knew. I told him I'd help, but he needed to come with me. So I called up Darren, filled him in, and got him to agree to meet us later. First stop was Travis's parents' house so they could watch his daughter. I waited in the car while he talked to them. After that, we headed to Monica's workplace. She works in one of those big strip mall-style office complexes with a bunch of generic buildings and a wide-open parking lot. We drove around till we found her car. Travis still had the spare key, so he unlocked it, and I handed him a GPS tracker and a little voice-activated recorder to stash inside. Once that was done, we parked a few blocks away and waited for Darren to show up, and for Monica to finish work. Darren rolled in about 25 minutes later and hopped in the car with us. About an hour after that, we saw Monica walk out of the building with two of her female co-workers, and a tall, younger-looking guy with sandy blonde hair. And yep, they were holding hands. At that point, I'm thinking, damn, Monica, you're not even trying to hide it. I snapped a few pictures from the car as they headed out. When Monica and the mystery man drove off in separate cars, I started tailing her. I figured they were headed to a hotel or something, but instead she drove to this nice bar and grill in a better part of town. She parked on the street, and I passed her just as she was getting out of her car. I found my own spot nearby, and then we went over the plan. First, we sent Darren in. Nobody knew him, so he was our best bet. His job was twofold. 1, get photos if anything incriminating happened, and 2, back up my story if anything went sideways. Travis and I stayed in the car while Darren went in. After about 25 minutes, I started getting texts. Pictures. Lots of them. Monica and this Jake guy making out, right there in front of her co-workers. Travis was gutted and angry. Turned out one of those co-workers is married and pretty close friends with both Travis and Monica. Their kids even play together. I asked Travis if that was enough proof for him, but he was desperate to know the guy's identity. I told him we could figure that out later, but he practically begged me. So I texted Darren that I was coming in. As I walked through the door, I spotted them right away, Monica and her crew, drinking and laughing at one of those high-top tables near the front window. I paused for a second, acted surprised, and then said, "Monica, what are you doing here?" The look on her face said everything. Total shock. Everyone at the table froze. She quickly introduced me as her sister's fiancé and said we were getting married in a couple of weeks. The others chimed in with congratulations, and I just smiled, shook hands, and played along. I stuck out my hand to the blonde guy and introduced myself, hoping he'd return the favor, and he did. That's when I realized his name wasn't Jake. I chatted with the rest of the table for a minute, then told Monica I was meeting a coworker. I waved over at Darren and excused myself. Back at Darren's table, I told him the guy's real name, and we both started searching him online. Didn't take long. We found his social media and, surprise, some court records. Turns out Jake is actually his middle name. At least she's not cheating with two coworkers. Small mercies, I guess. Anyway, this guy is 25, married, and has a 1-year-old daughter. Just perfect, right? I texted Travis the guy's real name and told him to hang tight for a few more minutes. At this point, I'm basically playing the babysitter, lingering in the bar to keep eyes on the group. They're clearly not thrilled I'm still around. I could feel it. Nobody at that table was having a good time anymore. I let things ride for about 10 more minutes at the bar, just watching the scene play out. Then I told Travis to text Monica and say he was spending the night at his parents' place with their daughter. Not long after he hit send, I saw Monica take out her phone, show something to Jake, and then the whole group decided it was time to call it a night. Monica walked over to me before leaving, smiled like nothing was out of the ordinary, and asked if Lena and I wanted to come over for dinner this weekend. I smiled back, told her that sounded great, and wished them all a good night. Darren and I waited until they cleared out, paid our tab, and then made a beeline back to Travis, who was waiting nearby. At that point, we weren't totally sure what Monica was going to do. A part of me thought she might have already booked a hotel room, which would have really complicated things and made it harder to keep tracking her. But it turned out tonight had just been a casual drinks and flirting night, until Travis said he wouldn't be home. That seemed to flip a switch. We followed her car at a safe distance and parked a few houses down once she pulled into the driveway. A few minutes later, another car rolled up, and out came Jake. He walked right up to the front door, knocked, and Monica let him in like it was just another Wednesday. By this time, it was around 8:30, and honestly, I had my own life to get back to. I'd done what I could for Travis, and I figured it was his turn to handle the next part. I felt bad for the guy, sure, but I didn't want to be the one holding his hand while he confronted his cheating wife. I had my own relationship mess to deal with. Travis said he'd take it from here. He walked over to Monica's car, grabbed the tracker and recorder I'd planted earlier, and we said our goodbyes. That was nearly 2 hours ago. I did get a text from Travis, just one. He said it was done, and that he really was heading to his parents' house this time. My phone's been quiet since then, so I've got no idea what went down with Monica after that. I've been at Darren's place ever since. Far as I'm concerned, that's the end of my role in Travis's story. If he was smart and listened to me, he had his phone recording when he walked into the house. I'll find out later, I guess. Right now, my focus is on getting back home and telling Lena that the wedding's off. She's not going to take it well. That much I already know. But there's no way around it. I just can't marry her. I don't know what's going to happen between us long term. Maybe we're done, maybe not. But one thing's certain, we're not getting married anytime soon. For the folks asking why I didn't talk to her first or confront her right away, are you serious? She looked Travis in the eye, a guy she's known for 10 years and supposedly respects, and flat out lied to him without even blinking. You think someone who can do that would suddenly be honest with me? Until that night, I never had a reason not to trust Lena. But she showed me, right there in front of my face, that she's capable of lying so smoothly it doesn't even register. And I'm supposed to sit her down and ask nicely for the truth? Nah. If you've ever had the rug pulled out from under you like that, seen someone you thought you knew just morph into someone else right before your eyes, you'd understand. It messes with your head. It's disorienting as hell. Honestly, I'm proud of myself for keeping it together. If I'd confronted her too early, she could have easily lied and then deleted those messages before I ever saw them. I never would have known the truth. I never would have seen just how deep this went or how much I didn't really know about her. Anyway, I'm heading home now to break the news. I'll post an update once I've had the talk. Don't expect it to be pretty. Update. A lot's happened since I wrote that last part. To be real, most of it's been awful. It was late when I finally left Darren's place. Lena already knew I was out talking shop with him, but she didn't know the topic of conversation was her sister's affair. Still, I stalled. I didn't want to walk into the house and face it all. Darren gave me a few pep talks before I finally got in my car, texted Lena that I was on my way, and headed home. When I walked in the door, I was hit with a surprise I absolutely did not expect. Monica was on the couch, crying, with Lena sitting next to her. I hadn't seen Monica's car in the driveway, so it totally caught me off guard. I froze right there in the doorway, damn near turned around and walked back out. This was not how I'd pictured this going down. And with Monica in the mix, I knew it was about to get a whole lot messier. But I had a schedule to keep, friends to inform, venues to cancel, vendors to contact. The wedding clock was still ticking, even if the whole thing was about to get canceled. When I walked into the living room, both of them looked up at me. Neither said anything. There was no shouting, no accusations, nothing. Just this awkward silence. Monica kept sobbing. Lena kept patting her on the back. I stood there for a moment, letting it hang in the air. It seemed like Travis hadn't told Monica I was involved in exposing the affair. That worked to my advantage. I decided to play dumb and see how Lena handled it. I walked over to the recliner, dropped my laptop bag, pulled out my phone, and pretended to fidget with it like I was just checking messages. Then I looked up and asked casually, "What's going on?" Monica just kept crying. Lena looked at me and said, "Travis is divorcing Mo." Yeah, I figured as much. I leaned into the obvious and asked, "What for?" Lena stopped rubbing Monica's back and looked at me. And I swear, the expression on her face twisted into something that reminded me of a kid who's been told they have to finish their vegetables. Monica gave her this sharp look, like, "Don't you dare," and the room just froze. Finally, Lena said it. She cheated on him. And that floored me. I know some of you might think, well, the truth was out by then. No point hiding it. Sure, but she didn't have to admit it like that. She could have said Travis accused Monica. She could have played dumb, but she didn't. She said it straight. Maybe I'm overanalyzing, but in my line of work, how people say things is just as important as what they say. And watching Monica just sort of curl into herself after that, half sighing, half sobbing, yeah, it confirmed everything I needed to know. I wanted to keep going, get everything out in the open, but I must have stumbled over my words a bit. Lena probably thought I was just in shock. And in a way, she was right, just not for the reason she assumed. She didn't say anything at first. Just nodded slowly, still rubbing her sister's shoulder like nothing was out of place. I didn't hold back. I asked the obvious question, "How long?" The answer came quicker and easier than I expected, 6 months. Just like that. She said it like she was talking about the weather. That floored me. And judging by Monica's reaction, it shocked her too. She slapped Lena's hand off her shoulder, and even Lena looked like she couldn't believe she'd actually said it out loud. I leaned back in the recliner, rubbed my face, and took a breath. Time to rip the Band-Aid all the way off. We're not getting married, I said. You'd think I'd spoken another language. They both stared at me like confused goats, mouths open, not quite sure what they just heard. So I stood up and said it again. We're not getting married. I can't marry someone who would help cover up an affair, especially not one that's been going on for 6 months. Lena jumped up off the couch and threw her arms wide, like she couldn't believe I was serious. But I was. I put my hands up and told her plainly, I'm serious. I don't like this. I don't like what you've done, and I can't walk down the aisle with all of this hanging over us. It'd be a mistake. And that's when the crying started. Lena was full on sobbing. Even Monica started doing that thing with her mouth, like a fish trying to suck air. The drama was instant and loud. Lena started throwing accusations at me, said I didn't love her, tried to guilt me about all the money that would be lost, the inconvenience for our friends and families, the embarrassment. She laid it on thick. I'd already thought about all that stuff, of course. But hearing it out loud from her, while she cried so hard her whole body was shaking, that hit different. And then I probably made a mistake. Maybe not a big one, but still. Trying to make the breakup feel real and final, I told her, look, I already canceled the honeymoon. It's done. The second I said it, I knew I'd lit a fuse. Monica, sharp as ever, which is probably how she kept her affair hidden so long, immediately started putting the pieces together. She remembered seeing me earlier that night at the bar. And then she lost it. She screamed, "You son of a bitch," and launched herself at me from across the room. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not exactly a linebacker either. She came at me with full force, and I barely had time to throw my hands up before she started clawing at my face with her nails. She caught me pretty good, too, scratched up the inside corner of my left eye and messed up my vision. I still had my phone in one hand and almost dropped it. I pushed her back and yelled, "Monica, get off me. Lena, control your sister." Monica tried to come at me again, but credit where it's due, Lena actually stepped in and wrapped her arms around Monica's waist to hold her back. I looked Monica dead in the eye and shouted, "Get out of here right now, or I'm calling the cops." I held my phone up to make the point. Lena tried to play peacemaker, telling us both to calm down. She said she doesn't have anywhere to go right now. Travis took her car keys. That explained why I hadn't seen her car in the driveway. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. I was done. Done with Monica. Done with the whole act. I stormed into my home office, slammed the door, locked it, and called the cops. I told them I'd been attacked in my own home by my fiance's sister, that I had scratches on my face, that my vision was blurry, and that I feared for my safety. I also let them know the whole thing had been recorded on my phone. Just as I was finishing the call, Lena knocked on the door. "Please come out," she said. "We need to talk about this. I love you. Don't do this. Monica's sorry. She wants to apologize." Yeah, right? I highly doubt that last part was true, but it was clear Lena was losing it. I didn't respond, just stayed quiet. She tried for a while, but gave up when the police showed up. I could hear her talking to them at the front door. That's when I stepped out of the office. 2 male officers had arrived. One looked like he was maybe Lena's age, the other looked older and already tired of life. I introduced myself, pointed at Monica, and told them she attacked me. I offered to show them the video. The younger cop asked me, "Do you want to press charges?" "Yes," I said. He asked again, like maybe I hadn't heard him. I repeated, "Yes." Then they exchanged one of those cop looks, and I cut him off before he could ask again. "Yes, I want to press charges. I've got the video, and if this doesn't go to court, I'll be calling your supervisor and asking him to come handle it himself." That caught their attention. They seemed a little surprised I knew who the supervisor was. Not that we're buddies or anything, but because of my job, I've worked with local law enforcement enough to know most of the brass by name. I've either met them in person or talked to them over the phone a handful of times. By now, I was fired up. I understood what the officers were trying to feel out, but I didn't agree with how they were handling it. Monica attacked me, plain and simple. I wasn't covered in blood, but I was bleeding, and it happened inside my house. I wanted her out. Thankfully, it didn't turn into a whole scene. The cops cuffed Monica and walked her out to the patrol car. She screamed and cried the whole way, sounding like a full-on lunatic. Lena wasn't much better. She just stood there repeating, "No, please, no," over and over like a broken record. After that, the younger cop circled back and asked, "Is everything okay here?" I told him I was going to bed. He turned to Lena and asked her again, "Is everything okay, ma'am?" She didn't say anything right away, just stared. So he repeated himself, clearly fishing for something. That's when I cut in. If you're looking to go on a fishing trip, officer, I said, you might want to try out on the front lawn. My doorbell cam's probably already recording all this. At this point, I think I tested the younger cop's patience one too many times. I could feel it, like I was 30 seconds away from getting cuffed myself. But before things got that far, his partner stepped in. Older guy, probably pushing 55. Looked like someone who didn't want to kick off his shift with 2 arrests, especially when one of them was shaping up to be more hassle than it was worth. I'm pretty sure he talked the younger guy down, and eventually they took Monica out in cuffs, screaming like a banshee the whole way. Hopefully, that's the last time she's ever in my house or my life. After the dust settled, I started thinking about what the hell I was going to do. My parents live a couple hours away, and honestly, I'm about to be pretty broke short-term. Between that and not wanting to deal with a hotel, I just decided to crash in the guest room for the night. Lena made a few half-hearted attempts to talk to me, tried to get me to sleep in our bed. I told her I was tired, not up for talking, and that we could deal with it tomorrow. Thankfully, she respected that. And man, I slept hard. Harder than I have in years. That pretty much catches us up. But Reddit, let me tell you, the next day was one of the weirdest damn days of my entire life. First off, I didn't wake up until 12 a.m., which is unheard of for me. Lena was still home. And get this, the whole house was spotless. Like, obsessively clean. Floors sparkling, toilets shining. The place smelled like a lemon-scented hospital. I could have licked the bathroom floor and probably tasted mint. Clearly, she'd been up and busy. But when she saw me, she kept her distance, just sort of hovering, clearly unsure of what to say or do. I get it. The night before had been traumatic for both of us. She probably wasn't sure what my mood would be, whether the wedding was really off, or if I'd said it in the heat of the moment. Whether I was still angry. I was. I took a breath and told her we needed to finish our conversation. She tried to sit beside me on the couch. I thought about pushing her away, but didn't. Because the truth is, I don't hate her. I was disappointed. I was disgusted by what I'd read between her and Monica. But hate? No. We were both hurting. I didn't want to escalate it any further. Life was already messy enough. It took a bit more explaining before Lena really grasped that the wedding was truly off. And she did not take it well. That's putting it lightly, she was a wreck. I think she even started hyperventilating at a couple points. I was doing a better job holding it together. I'd had more time to process everything. I was the one who made the call, after all. Eventually she asked the big question, what about us? And look, I know I'm going to catch flack for this, especially from the burn-it-all-down crowd who thinks one wrong move is reason to drop a nuclear bomb on the relationship. And maybe they're right. I mean, canceling the wedding was like dropping a Moab on 7 years of being together. But the truth? I didn't have an answer for her. I told her I'd read all those messages, and it made me see a version of her I didn't recognize. That I wasn't sure who she really was anymore, and I wasn't sure where we stood. I told her I didn't understand how she could laugh along with Monica while she trashed Travis, how she could help her cheat, not just on her husband, but their kid, too. All Lena could say was, I know it was wrong. I asked her why she did it. She didn't have a good answer. Just said she got caught up in it all, that she had to choose her sister. I told her what I believed, that a good sister would have kept Monica in check, told her to stop, not handed her a shovel to dig the hole deeper. Lena agreed, said she'd do better, that Monica had always been the dominant one growing up, that she'd always just followed her lead. I actually got that. I've got an older sibling, too, but he's been living on the other side of the world for almost 2 decades. We see each other maybe once a year. Maybe I got lucky. My older brother turned out to be a good guy. Lena didn't have that luxury. And then, out of nowhere, came the second big bombshell of the week. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "It's not fair." I blinked. What's not fair? You were sexting that bimbo wife Chloe girl on Instagram last year. I saw the messages. I was crushed. But I got over it. Why can't you? Wait, what? I stared at her, completely thrown. Chloe? Sexting? Instagram? I had zero clue what she was talking about. I asked her if she was high, or having some kind of breakdown. Okay, yeah, that was rude. But come on, I've never messaged anyone like that. Certainly not on Instagram. I barely even use Instagram. She started shouting through tears, telling me she saw the messages last year, that she didn't confront me at the time because I'd stopped. Apparently, she'd been checking my browser history from the home computer while I was at work, which, I guess explains a lot. But it must have been boring. My socials are just family and a few coworkers. I told her she could check all my accounts. I'd hand over every password. She called me a liar, a pervert, started throwing stuff at me. I told her flat out, throw one more thing, and you're getting dragged out of this house like your sister. She cussed me out, stormed off to the bedroom, and slammed the door. At this point, I was so rattled I didn't know which end was up. I went into my office, sat down at the desktop, and typed bimbo wife Chloe into Google. And yeah, sure enough, there she was. Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. I clicked one of the Instagram profiles. Up popped this insanely busty woman who looked like the result of some science experiment. And guess where she's from? Australia. Remember how I said all those nice things about my brother earlier? Guess who was staying with us last Christmas? Guess who I told? Hey man, use the office computer if you're jet-lagged and can't sleep. Yep. So from what I can piece together, while his wife and kids were asleep, he probably logged into some account, Instagram, maybe something else, and paid money to text this woman. Great guy, huh? I wanted to call him immediately, get answers, and tear into him for getting me caught in the crossfire. But it's 3 or 4 in the morning over there. That'll have to wait. Right now, I'm just pacing the house, trying to process all of it. I feel let down by everyone. Just exhausted. And yeah, I tried to connect the dots in my head. Maybe this is why Lena let Monica slide. Maybe she thought I'd done something shady first. Maybe she's more forgiving than I am. But I wish she'd said something. Confronted me. Let me clear it up back then. Maybe that moment could have changed everything. Who knows? All I do know is that this post has turned into a damn novel. I've blown off the whole morning getting it out of my system, and it did help. A little. There's probably still 3 or 4 more chapters left in this story. Talking to my brother, my parents, Lena's parents, figuring out what the hell happens next with Lena and me. But I won't be posting those here. Pretty sure the mods won't even let me. Still, I'll try to quietly update my profile over the next few days with the rest. All I know for sure right now, it feels like most of the people I trusted just aren't who I thought they were.